Justice isn't just responding to an incident after it already happened. Justice is preventing that from happening in the first place. In Brooklyn, we saw a tragic shooting where multiple people were shot in the subway system in a city that spends more money on police than almost any other city in the country, a city that has an $11 billion police budget. And the response from the police was lackluster. It highlighted a number of issues with the broader conversation around policing and police funding. They didn't prevent the incident. They didn't apprehend the shooter. Their radios weren't working while they were trying to respond to the crisis. Surveillance cams weren't even working to capture the video of what happened. So across the board, this was a failed response from law enforcement, despite all the money that has been poured into law enforcement as an alleged solution to public safety. And despite all of that, we saw Mayor Eric Adams come out and say, actually, we just need more police.
You're going to see a double amount of police officers.
Just pouring more funding into policing is not going to solve this problem. In many ways, that's how we got here, by removing funding from community-based programs, removing funding from programs that work with youth, from programs that are mental health first responder programs, by removing funding from efforts to address homelessness, by actually helping people get homes and helping people deal with substance use. Instead, we're funding the police to arrest and incarcerate, in some cases even kill people for things that should not even be crimes, that are not dangerous to public safety, and that ultimately dry up resources that could be going to actually solving this problem. This is a massive coordinated effort to pour more money into policing, using small increases in violent crime and moderate increases in homicide to sort of justify this idea that just more police will be a solution, which is not based in science, it's not based in research. We have to push back on the narratives that are being advanced by the police, by police unions, and by some elected officials. In New York, we're talking about an elected official, a mayor who used to be a police officer. So there is a coordinated effort across the country, number one, to fearmonger, to scare people into believing that crime is at a historic high when it's not, it's actually at historic low. What they're doing is not only scaring people, but trying to make people believe that further investing in policing and surveillance and incarceration and rolling back criminal justice reforms, we need to help people demystify what the police are doing right now with all of their resources, all of the funding, which again is at the highest level of funding that they've ever had. What they do right now predominantly is arrest people for a host of low-level nonviolent offenses that have nothing to do with public safety. So when we look at data from the FBI's Uniform Crime Report, it shows that only 5% of all arrests are for violent crime. Only 12% of arrests are for property crime. And the vast majority of arrests, the vast majority of what police spend their time doing is responding to issues like drug possession, issues like liquor violations, issues like folks who are engaging in sex work, issues like homelessness and what they call disorderly conduct or loitering or vagrancy, or a whole host of crimes they've made up in order to justify arresting and incarcerating homeless people. No amount of police funding or no amount of police officers will effectively prevent violence from happening. We need to invest in the solutions that actually can address those issues, and it involves reallocating that money from police departments into community-based interventions that work.